They make the complicated. Hey, television family, how you doing? Week's about done. October's about done. 2023 is about done. What the heck's going on? At least I'm not done. We're just getting going. It is Friday, 27th day of October, 2023. I am Dan Kuntz, your host on this edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. It is a cool 36 degrees. Outside of our studios, with just a few high clouds hanging around, but we're going to be under the influence of a building ridge of high pressure. And a building ridge with high pressure with clear skies means clear skies, also means chilly temperatures. There is some good news, though. The overnight lows they were predicting just a couple of days ago, overnight lows into the weekend would be down into the mid-20s. Now they're saying it's not going to be that cold once the sun goes down. It's going to be cold. It's certainly going to be much colder than normal, but it's not going to be really cold, at least here in the Wenatchee Valley, as they were predicting earlier in the week. We like that, but it's still going to be quite chilly. For this time of the year, we have a complete forecast, which is full of nothing but sunshine till the middle part of next week. We'll have that for you. There is going to be a lot of news and, needless to say, a lot of sports. We're very much looking forward to tonight at Wildcat Stadium. We will be there with our high-definition cameras. Looking forward to tonight's big matchup. Number 1, Moses Lake. Number 3, Eastmont. Last regular season game of the season. Winner wins the Big 9, punches their ticket to the playoff. Loser still goes to the playoffs. It's going to be an epic battle tonight. We are looking forward to that. We'll preview that and everything else that you need in sports in the back half of the program. And today you're going to hear Jefferson Robbins and his sit-down conversation with Wenatchee mayoral candidate Mike Poyer. You'll see that interview with Jefferson in the back half of the program. And on Monday, we will do the other person who wants to be Wenatchee's next mayor. That is Brian Campbell. So Mike Poyer and his conversation with Jefferson Robbins will air today. The Brian Campbell interview will air on Monday. And let's go. It's 2 minutes after the hour. Let's start our tour around the valley in north central Washington with our Heights camera. Still a ways from sunrise, 7:37. This morning is when the sun will creep over the east Wenatchee bench. It'll dip behind the west side of the valley at 5:52. 10 hours and 15 minutes of daylight. We're still losing about 2.5 minutes of daylight a day. That's just the way it is. But very beautiful view from that angle. Up to Stein, up in Cashmere. Very top of Stein Hill. I believe we have that pointed, I don't know if we have that pointed to Cashmere or it's flipped around the other way and pointed towards Dryden and Peshastin. It's too dark for me to tell. You can make out the traffic on the highway, and that's about it from our camera high atop Stein Hill. I climbed that once, and when I climbed it, I realized I was out of shape. Not an easy hike, at least for an old guy like me. McNeil Canyon, I have never hiked up McNeil Canyon, but if I did, and then I climbed on top of the tower, it would look like that. Look at the snow line in the foothills above Lake Chelan. That's pretty cool. Again, we're going to see temperatures in the mid-40s for the afternoon high right through the weekend, so I'm expecting some snow melt anyway. By the way, Manson, you're the cold spot right now. It's 29 in Manson, below freezing up there. And the Billy Goat camera. It's also 29 degrees, by the way, at the Omak Airport, which you can't make out from there, but it is out there. High atop Billy Goat, hello Pateros, Bridgeport, Brewster, Riverside, Tonasket, Omak, Okanagan, Orville, Canada, and eventually the North Pole. It's a really good camera. It's not that good. Good morning to our friends up at Okanagan County. All right, so we're still under the influence of that chilly high pressure. It's going to continue to build up, but as you can see there, even though the overnight lows will be dipping down into the 20s, not quite as cold as they were originally predicting. For the record, yesterday's high was 43, and it took us a long time to get there. Sun didn't really break out until mid-afternoon on Thursday, so we got to 43. We'll be a couple of degrees warmer than that. For a point of reference, our normal high this time of the year is 54, so below normal. And below normal for the overnight lows, 31 with clear skies. It will be cold tonight at the football game. Mid-40s again with lots of sunshine Saturday and Sunday and Monday. Overnight lows below freezing. There is no snow in the forecast at all. We'll eventually get up to about normal by the time we get to Tuesday and Wednesday. Next chance of any kind of weather maker will be coming in overnight Tuesday into Wednesday, but pretty calm and benign weather just a little on the cold side. It is, after all, almost November. It's 5 minutes after the hour. It's almost time for news. It's coming up next. You're watching a Friday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
At Confluence Health, our mission is clear: to provide exceptional care for our community. We believe in healthcare that's personal and local because we're just like you, members of this great community.
We are Confluence.
Local care by and for our community.
Local care by and for our community.
Local care by and for our community.
We are Confluence.
We're turning up the heat with the hottest deals of the year. Right now, during the hot summer clearance sale, only at Click It RV. #1 in sales and service. The best RV brands. Over 1,000 to choose from. And the best deals of the year on remaining 2023 model year-end clearance with incredible 30% off. Brand new RVs discounted up to 30%. Save thousands. Plus, no payments until 2024. During the hot summer clearance sale, now only at Click It RV. 5 Superstore locations. Hurry in today.
Hi, this is Frank Kuntz, Mayor of the City of Wenatchee. Mike Poyer will make a great mayor. Mike is consistent, he's thoughtful, he shows up, he's prepared, and he always gets to the right answer. Mike just loves this town. He was born and raised here. He has a passion for making this place better, as we all do. And it's been a pleasure working with him on Wenatchee City Council for the past 4 years, and I just look forward to having him lead our city going forward. So join me in voting for Mike Poyer, Mayor.
Are you hungry enough to eat the end out of a rhinoceros? I know how you feel. Come on out to Blueberry Hills. You'll have a great time. We've got excellent food, a feet on the furniture kind of experience, and we won't hustle you out of your table. If you want a real farm experience, make the trek to Manson to Blueberry Hills, where you sit, you pick, you eat, and you visit. So come on out and see what all the fuss is about. Blueberry Hills in Manson. It's where the world is coming to.
Clear skies for the most part, 36 rather cool degrees. Bountiful sunshine for everybody. Mid-40s for the afternoon highs right through the weekend. Overnight lows right around that 28, 29 degree mark with a gradual warming trend, but still temperatures below normal. It's 7 minutes after the hour. In Waterville, the trial in the murder of Alyssa Longwell entered its 4th day yesterday in Douglas County Superior Court. Of course, as you know by now, Dalton Scott Potter is charged with multiple counts of murder in the shooting death of 38-year-old Longwell, who was gunned down on Badger Mountain Road back in January. NCW Life's Jefferson Robbins reporting that the jury on Wednesday heard from multiple police investigators and viewed forensic evidence related to the crime.
Dalton Scott Potter appeared to weep in his Douglas County court trial on Wednesday as Sheriff's Detective Jason DeMeyer testified about the killing of Alyssa Ann Longwell. On January 21st, the Tri-Cities woman was found dead along Badger Mountain Road south of Waterville, gunned down, police say, by her ex-boyfriend Potter. DeMeyer was among the first to examine Longwell's body.
Field examination of the deceased's body, that was for several different reasons. One, to identify any injuries, to prepare the body for transport, and try to do positive identification.
The jury of 8 women and 7 men was allowed to see some of what DeMeyer saw that night. Pieces of Alyssa Longwell's clothing, bloodstained and marked with holes. The prosecution, led by Chief Prosecuting Attorney Gordon Edgar, says Potter fatally shot her in front of witnesses. Potter, represented by Public Defender Jesse Collins, has said little in his own defense, but has entered a not guilty plea to 2 counts of murder and related charges. Grant County Judge John Nodell is presiding over the case after Potter's multiple verbal clashes with the court led Douglas County's chief judge and court commissioners to be excluded from hearing the trial. Trial commenced Monday with jury selection. About 10 days are set aside for hearings, but officials say it's possible the case might go to the jury late this week or early next. Potter remains in custody on $3 million bail. He was escorted to and from the trial by a plainclothes correctional officer. Jefferson Robbins, NCW Life.
The downtown headquarters of the Chelan County PUD, of course, is in the process of being abandoned. They're moving out. They'll be completely moved into their new service center out there in Old Station by the end of January. Who's stepping into that footprint in downtown? The Wenatchee Valley YMCA. They launched a fundraising drive last week to cover its projected $25 million cost. The CEO of the Wenatchee Valley YMCA, Dory Foster, was a guest earlier this week on this very program.
It was early on where we realized we need more space, we need to serve better. Accessibility has always been an issue. It was originally built for a men's housing unit way back 113 years ago, so it's been adapted every which way, and we just can't do it any longer. We didn't want to make mistakes on this one, so we did a lot of data with a third-party developer that allowed us to really explore and interview. We came up with options for our current facility, including leveling it and bringing it back up, but the community said we need you to stay in the downtown corridor. And if Chelan PUD is moving out, this is a perfect opportunity because that could be a blight, right? So we had our eye focused on that since the moment they announced. I got in there and toured it, and I feel like it's a perfect spot, and the community said it is. So that's where we decided. So early on, the PUD asked the port to look at master developers, and there were 9 or 10 at one point that were interested. We met with all of them. They were all willing to donate the land to the Y. At the end of the day, it didn't look like it was going to pan out, as you well know. And when the PUD made the announcement that they were going to be the developers, we thought, well, we're not going to get the land donated any longer, but this might be a better opportunity, and sure has proven to be that way. We have had donors that have stepped up and allowed us to look at our future. So we have an expanded site now, so much more than we would have gotten with a master developer.
Registered voters up in Chelan, you have a chance to decide who you want to lead your city next. Of course, the incumbent is Bob Getty, who is serving his 3rd non-consecutive term in that post. Running against him, longtime city council member Erin McCardle. Erin McCardle believes she's got what it takes to lead Chelan starting in 2024. In our ongoing series of candidate interviews, the two of them spoke with our own Jefferson Robbins about the biggest challenges facing Chelan in the coming years.
I think this is anywhere across north central Washington right now, but the pace of growth, and particularly in Chelan, the pace of tourism in Chelan is a big concern for folks. When COVID hit, it caught everyone kind of unaware that the amount of movement to Eastern Washington was outpaced anyone's expectations. So we really need to take a look at that and have a plan for long-term, how we're seeing that thoughtfully, how we want to have that happen in our community. Affordable housing is obviously another very large issue that our community is facing. In fact, every community is facing affordable housing. And we have, because of those two main areas, they sort of branch off into a lot of other areas of issues in our community. Small businesses finding staff, traffic congestion. I would say those are our top issues that we've got in our community right now.
I've been here since 1946. It was kind of like Maryberry, USA, and now it's kind of like Sun Valley, Idaho. And that's the difficult part of finding people to work. Some of the restaurants don't even run double shifts because they don't have people to work.
Do they identify housing? Do those restaurants say housing is our problem? We need people who can live here?
That seems to be it, but I kind of have this feeling that there's a lot of people that just don't want to work. And if you look at the amount of available people out there that are working, it's not a good sign. We doubled our sales taxes in those 5 years. We need to take that money that we're getting off the tourist industry and focus some of it into our locals. Like our baseball field has some area behind it. We'd like to develop a community park out of the range of the tourists. I mean, the Don Morris is great, but on weekends you can pretty much forget going down there because that's where it's at. I think that's what we need to do, and I think that we've pretty much mellowed out. When I was a kid, tourist was a 4-letter word, and they've mellowed quite a bit. I worked as a police officer in the 90s when I got treed. Those people aren't here anymore, thank God.
Chelan County Auditor Skip Moore is a busy guy any time of the year. You throw in a general election, he's really busy. This week, Skip talked to the county's official podcast, the Chelan County Connection. The topic, what to expect on the November 7th general election as far as turnout is concerned.
My crystal ball never seems to work, but I can use some of the old data. 2 years ago, same type of election cycle, we had 47%. 4 years ago, the same election cycle, which pretty much are the same offices, just 4 years later, that was 49%. So I'm pretty confident we'll be at 50%. There seems to have been a lot of enthusiasm with the changing in the Wenatchee School District election process, as well as with the mayoral race here in Wenatchee. I think that we'll probably see somewhere close to 55%. We're just not seeing that 65% turnout in that cycle. We're still seeing that type of turnout in the even year elections where we're voting for federal offices and more state offices and county offices. Nationwide, we're pretty good. We rank up there within the top 5, I believe it is, nationwide for turnout. So we're doing well there, statewide, and we do well within the state. Chelan County does quite well. We're always up within the top, I'd say the top 7 to 10 of counties in the state. So we do well, both statewide and nationally. It's just, I can't figure out why we don't have 99 or 95% turnout.
That's the news here on this Friday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. The news in its entirety will come your way at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock. That 10 o'clock of the evening news tonight might be a little delayed, depending on how long the Moses Lake Eastmont football game goes, but we'll have to see. And if that doesn't work for you, you can always watch the news by accessing the World Wide Web, because our news will be up and running right around 5 o'clock every Monday through Friday on our homepage, ncwlife.com, on our YouTube page, and on our Facebook page. And if you have a news tip, let us know about it by sending us an email, news@ncwlife.com. Still to come, a whole bunch of sports, and I mean a bunch of sports. It's next. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Hey, hon, would you run this around to the wash rack?
Oh, okay.
Hey, hon, what happened?
They shrunk the truck.
The all-new midsize Canyon is now available at Sangster Motors.
Check out clubprocashmere.com for upcoming events and tickets.
"18 minutes after the hour, after 20 seasons as the head coach of the Wenatchee Panther football team, Scott Devereaux going to be stepping down. He says he told his seniors a couple of weeks ago that this would be his final year as head coach. He told us on Thursday that secret has been hard to keep.
No, it's not been a very well kept secret, but yeah, this is it for me. Yep, I got whenever this season ends, I'm hanging up the head coaching whistle, and I want to keep helping Wenatchee in some way. I've got some ideas to do some things in the off season with football players. You know, a lot of the bigger, better schools in the big cities, their kids are doing stuff year round with outside coaches, and they pay a bunch of money for that. I'd like to do something like that, but you know, like for free for Wenatchee kids, and see if I can help us move along, you know, the spectrum compared to these other bigger city schools.
Devereaux was an assistant to Doug Preston when Doug Preston stepped down in 2004. Scott Devereaux got the head job. He said he didn't really think he was going to be the head coach for 2 decades.
I told my AD at the time, you know, I said, I got like a 5-year plan. I had a plan to bring in this guy to replace myself. Kind of had a handshake agreement with a Hall of Fame coach. That all changed, and I'm still here. But it's coming to an end very soon, and I'm going to miss coaching football and the relationships I have with kids. And, you know, guys show up at the house, or I get texts and Instagrams all the time, and it's pretty special. That's why I got into teaching and coaching, is I thought I could help kids, and hopefully I've done that.
Estimated 800 or so student athletes played football for Coach Devereaux. He says it's really hard to single out any one player or team.
I'm so proud of, so many kids have come through. We've had kids that, barely step foot on the field, and when they got a chance, they made something happen. I'm proud of those guys as much as I am with the championship teams, the teams. We went back-to-back with playoff wins. That was the first time it happened since the 70s. Those teams were really special football players. But even the teams that, were middle of the pack, there's memories with so many kids. And I'm writing some notes about our seniors, and I was doing some last night. I got like three left to write. And I put a kind of a senior moment, a forever memory about each one of those kids in that list. And as I'm doing it, I'm just, I'm reminiscing about all the stuff that I could write without, I want to keep it kind of short, but a lot of things. Because, a lot of these seniors have been at my house quite a bit, and I've watched them grow up since they were little farmers. And seeing how they've progressed as young men has been pretty impressive. Well, we know he's got at least 2 more games left tonight and next week with the crossover game, and if there's more, we'll just have to wait and see. Big 9 football season, by the way, got underway yesterday. Sunnyside knocked off Davis, as you see there, 34-12. The schedule, well, the game we're featuring here on the NCAA Live channel has number 1 ranked and undefeated Moses Lake, number 3rd ranked and undefeated Eastmont will do battle in East Wenatchee. Wildcat coach Michael Don's been preparing for Moses Lake's run-style passing attack.
How they throw the ball isn't quite, it's not like they're throwing the ball down the field every snap, and they're not doing a lot of long, drawn concepts. Their passing game is their running game, so they're running bubbles, screens, getting the ball out of the quarterback's hands really quick, and they've got some phenomenal space athletes, guys that just, when you get the ball in their hand, they do great things, and they block really well on the perimeter, and for them, that's their running game. And it's similar to us, where we hand it off to Gunner and let him go be special. They put the ball out in Kyson Thomas, his hands, and let him go be special. It's just kind of a different way of getting to the same result.
Coach Don says the key to the game, which line, Moses Lake or Eastmont, and offense and defense will be most physical.
Yeah, I think it's part of who we are. It's ingrained in us. When you go against it every day, we're physical up front. We get after it. We got kids who play really hard, and hopefully we control the line of scrimmage and take care of that. And for them, it's going to be this, putting guys in space. And they had some pretty studly defensive linemen last year who were really good, and they worked hard and they got after us a little bit sometimes. But I think this year our old line is playing really well, and our D line's playing really well. Our front 7 has been lights out, and we're going to stop the run like we always have, and just kind of try to keep them from hitting some big ones on us.
Eastmont's offensive line is loaded with seniors, which is probably why Gunnar Peterson has been running up and down the field at will. The offensive line says they know it's up to them to win the game.
Oh, 100%. I think that's our strong suit, is us being physical. The first ones to set the tone in a game is us up front, us 5 up front.
So getting to that second level, not just making your blocks on the line, but also getting out and hitting those linebackers and things like that, and springing your guys behind you. Gunnar Peterson's had a great year, but it doesn't start without you guys, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think the tackles have been doing a good job getting to the second level this year. We got a couple of young tackles playing right. They switch on and off, and they've been doing a really good job getting that second level, and definitely helps a lot.
Well, speaking of that, okay, 3 seniors, that's it. You got to have 2 other guys that step up, and you've had that. So in the games and through the season, you're 8 weeks in now, coming into your 9th week. How much education process do you have during the games where you guys are saying, hey, this is what we need to do?
I mean, we definitely go all week thinking about the certain team or the specific team we're going to go against. So our mind's 100% on the team, so we should be able to be educated on the team when we play them.
The handsome and talented Grant Olson, the even more handsome and more talented Brandon Harley, and some guy named Eric will have the call tonight. 6:30 pregame, 7 o'clock kickoff on the NCAA Live channel. Wenatchee Panthers are on the road taking on the West Valley Rams, and they need to win this game if they want to avoid a mini playoff. On Tuesday, senior defensive back and wide receiver Michael McPherson of the Panthers says when you add in Coach Devereaux's retirement announcement, it's a pretty big game.
I think we got to leave a legacy for such a great coach that we've had for Wenatchee. I mean, he's an icon, obviously. Everyone knows Coach Dev. So we just got to ball out these next couple games. You know, we got to win, go against West Valley, beat them, beat Chiawana, which is most likely who we'll be playing, and then get a playoff spot. You know, I know what our team can do, and we gotta ball out for Devs last year for sure.
Last week, the Panthers lost to Sunnyside 20-10. This week, Devereaux says they'll be ready.
Well, the team we're playing this week isn't anything like Sunnyside. You know, completely different look on defense, pretty much different on offense. So not a lot carries over. You know, there's a few things they do on defense with their 3-4 front that allows us to attack the flats and in a variety of ways. So we expect to do that. In all their games this year, they've given up quite a few yards, and they have not scored very many points. So, you know, we're going to this game knowing this is a must-win for us, and, you know, we're going to give it all we got.
McPherson says the emphasis is on winning tonight so they don't have to play a mini playoff game on Tuesday.
I know 100% we can win this game. We have the talent, the skill, the drive to beat a team. Any team in our league, I feel like it just comes down to all 11 guys doing their job, you know, going as fast as they can, as hard as they can, and just taking away the dub. It is unfortunate. You got to go all the way to West Valley, all the way to Yakima, but I think that, you know, it's we have another game after this, but that's kind of like an undetermined game. But this is a game we know we need to win, and that we know we need to bring everything we have. So I'm fairly sure we can beat them. Panthers and the West Valley Rams, 7 o'clock kickoff tonight. All right, Ephrata trying to win the CWAC regular season title outright if they beat Ellensburg at home. Another CWAC play at Othello visiting East Valley. Prosters at Selah, and Grandview travels to Clarkston. Caribou Trail League wraps up their regular season tonight. Cashmere will host Quincy. Chelan plays at Cascade. Omak will take on Cascade Christian. That game will be at Lieboftel Field at the Apple Bowl tonight at 7 o'clock. The Bees have 3 games tonight and 2 more tomorrow. Soap Lake kicks it off at 6 in Pateras. Okanagan will host Brewster at 7. Lake Roosevelt visits Tenasket. On Saturday, it's Waterville Mansfield hosting Aniat at 1 and Liberty Bell at Moses Lake Christian at 4. Soccer, Brewster and Liberty Bell extending their seasons last night. The Bears blanked Bridgeport 6-0 in the first round of the District 6 1B 2B tournament. Liberty Bell won its first round game over Pateras. Ephrata lost to East Valley in the first round of the District 5 and 6 2A tournament last night, but the Tigers still get to play more soccer. Speaking of soccer, here's your schedule. Take a look at where all the teams are playing at. The District 6 1A tournament is tomorrow at Lieboftel Field at the Apple Bowl. The District 6 1B 2B tournament continues with Liberty Bell playing at Tenasket and Brewster visits Okanagan. Ephrata has to win tomorrow to stay alive. They'll host Othello at 12 o'clock. And the Big 9 regular season wraps up tomorrow. For Eastmont, they're home against Davis. Wenatchee will be at Eisenhower. Both of those games get underway at 1 o'clock. Volleyball. Wenatchee completes an undefeated Big 9 volleyball season with an easy win last night over Eisenhower. Davis took down Eastmont. Took a long time to do it, but they did it. Ephrata swept Prosser, and Quincy won a non-league match against Kittitas. The volleyball schedule. Let's see, scores from the District 6 1B tournament in Aniat and Waterville last night had Soap Lake topping Moses Lake. Christian and Aniat swept Easton. Wilson Creek ended Riverside Christian's season. Waterville Mansfield advances with a sweep at Thorpe. And in Central Washington, 2B league play last night. Okanagan swept Brewster. All right, there's your schedule. The District 6 2B tournament played in Omak High School tomorrow. It's Liberty Bell taking on Lake Roosevelt, Tenasket, and Brewster. Then the winner of the first game will take on Okanagan at 3. The winner of the second game will take on Manson at 4:30. And on down the line, I hope you're writing this down, they will be at Tests tomorrow. The District 6 1A tournament is at Wenatchee High School. It begins tomorrow. Cashmere and Chelan play at 3 for the championship. Quincy will take on Omak at 5. The loser of Cashmere and Chelan will take on the winner of Quincy and Omak in the last chance to move on. And the other action tomorrow, Ephrata will host Selah at 12:30. West Valley continues its dominance in cross country yesterday. Here in Wenatchee, the Rams won at Walla Walla Point Park. The girls came out on top of Wenatchee and Moses Lake. The boys finished first in front of Sunnyside and Wenatchee. And the Big 9 swimming and diving championships, by the way, get underway in Moses Lake
yesterday and will continue through tomorrow. Wenatchee Wild have a 3-game winning streak. They're on the road tonight and home on tomorrow night. They'll be in Everett to take on the Silvertips at 7:05, and then the Kelowna Rockets at 6 on Saturday here in the big city. Speaking of hockey, Seattle Kraken couldn't hold a 2-goal lead. Lost in overtime last night. Hurricanes coming up on top, 3-2. The Kraken continue their 4-game road trip tomorrow. They'll be in Florida at 3 o'clock on Root Sports Northwest. College football, Eastern Washington has a 1 o'clock kickoff tomorrow at Portland State. That's on ESPN+. Number 5, Washington will try and do better than they did last week. They're down on the farm, taking on the Cardinal, 4 o'clock on FS1. The Cougars have lost 3 in a row. They're going to see if they can get off the schneid there. They got Arizona State on the Pac-12 network. And the Seahawks, they're set to debut their throwback jerseys Sunday. They're hosting the Browns, 1:05 at Lumen Field on Fox. And finally, the 119th edition of the World Series begins tonight. Diamondbacks Rangers, Globe Life Field in Arlington, 5:05 on Fox. Game 2 tomorrow. We're off to Phoenix on Monday. Best time of the year, baby, the World Series. And those are just some of the games that people are playing at 31 minutes after the hour. October 27th is always National Black Cat Day. This cat has a bad reputation. I've had 2 or 3 black cats in my life. They were fine by me. Black cats are also, by the way, the least likely to be adopted. How black cats got a bad name here in the States is beyond me. In Japan and in Great Britain, black cats are symbols of good luck. In Russia, all cats are lucky, regardless of their color. I don't know. Why black cats got a bad rap, I don't know. You can take care of that by going down to the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society, finding a black cat, and adopting them. Black cats are just like any other cat. They're just black. That's all. National Black Cat Day with an exclamation point. Don't recall putting that in there. Today in history at 32 minutes after the hour, happy 341st birthday to that town. That is the city flag of Philadelphia. 341 years ago, the city of brotherly love. Of course, it was our nation's first capital. It was the first town in America to have a public library. It was the first town to have a public hospital, medical school. 1 out of every 6 physicians in this country was educated somewhere in the greater Philadelphia area. That's pretty darn impressive. Happy birthday to Philadelphia. Just like the black cat, Philadelphia gets a bad rap. I think it's a pretty cool town. It's also 341 years old today. Take a look at Vladimir Arkhipov. Vladimir Arkhipov, that's the gentleman right there. He saved this planet from nuclear annihilation during the Cuban Missile Crisis on this date in 1962. He was the flotilla commander of a submarine that was hanging around Cuba. The United States were dropping depth charges trying to get the submarine to go to the surface. 3 people in charge, all 3 of them had to decide whether to fire the nuclear weapon that was on board the submarine. The captain of the submarine, the political officer, and the commander of the flotilla. Vladimir, the commander of the flotilla, said no. The other 2 said yes, let's do it. But all 3 had to agree, and that guy said no, there's no war going on. We're overreacting. And because he said no and refused to green light a nuclear weapon being launched by a submarine, an American ship, probably saved us from not being here. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. And on that very same day, Rudolph Anderson of the United States Air Force became the only known casualty of the Cuban Missile Crisis. He was flying over Cuba taking surveillance photos when he was shot down by a surface-to-air missile fired by the Soviets, the only direct human casualty of the Cuban Missile Crisis. Also on the same day that we almost blew everybody up. 32 years ago, Game 7 of the 1991 World Series, one of the greatest World Series ever. There's no question about it. And it went down to extra innings in the 7th and final game. What a great series between the Braves and the Twins. Here's how it ended.
The Minnesota bench hoping to get this winning run across here in the 10th. It's carried by Dan Gladden at third. Base hit loaded, 1 out. Infielders are sort of halfway at second and short. Pena in a jam. The Twins are going to win the World Series. The Twins have won it. It's a base hit. It's a 1-0 10-inning victory.
I watched every pitch of every game of the 1991 World Series. When they celebrated the 100th anniversary of the World Series in 2003, a group of experts voted this World Series the best World Series ever. Now, in 2016, with the Cubs and the Indians, that may have a claim to fame, but think about it. 5 games decided by 1 run. 4 games were decided in the final at-bat. 3 games went to extra innings. It was a phenomenal World Series. And 19 years ago today, after 86 years, the curse of the Bambino finally comes to an end. As you watch the final out, I will tell you the fate of the baseball that was caught by the first baseman, Doug Minkiewicz. Here is the final out as they finally win the World Series. We have that, Uriah? There it is. Ball, and the Red Sox said, well, the ball belongs to us, and Doug Minkiewicz said, no, it belongs to me. That's tradition. I have the ball. It's in my back pocket. See, I have it right here. A couple of months later, Doug Minkiewicz was traded to the Mets. So Doug Minkiewicz and the Red Sox reached an agreement that the Red Sox would hold the ball temporarily, and they could take the ball and the trophy and display it across New England. And then at the end of 2005, Doug Minkiewicz would get the baseball back. So instead, at the end of 2005, the Red Sox sued Doug Minkiewicz, said he was an employee of the Red Sox at the time at the end of the World Series, so the baseball belongs to us. He sued back. Doug Minkiewicz and his wife and his family got death threats. They eventually sorted the whole thing out for an undisclosed agreement. The baseball is in the Hall of Fame. And some birthdays. Isaac Singer brought sewing to the masses. See, he didn't invent the sewing machine, but he said, if we make the sewing machine smaller, cheaper, and let people buy it on the installment plan, easy monthly payments, I can make $1 billion, and Isaac Singer made $1 billion. He also made a bunch of babies. Isaac Singer was married, had 2 children with his first wife. He also had a mistress. And he had 10 children with his mistress. Then he got tired of his first mistress, dumped her, got another mistress, and had 7 children with her. Got tired of mistress number 2, got mistress number 3, had a kid with her. Then his first wife died, and he married again, and he had 6 children with his second wife. So if you're keeping track at home, Isaac Singer fathered 26 children with 5 different women. Now that's impressive in and of itself. And the 26th president of the United States, Theodore Roosevelt, born in the state in 1858, the youngest president in this country's history after the death of William McKinley, who took over. He was the first president to leave the United States while in office. He visited the Panama Canal Zone. In 1906, he hated the nickname Teddy. And up until Donald Trump, Teddy Roosevelt was the only president to be born in New York City. 38 minutes after the hour, almost 39 minutes after the hour, Mike McNaughty has gotten the opinion, and then you're going to see Jefferson Robbins in his conversation with Mike Poyer, Wenatchee City Councilman Mike Poyer, who would like to be the next mayor. You'll see that when we come back. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Coming home should never be a chore. Let Merry Maids of Wenatchee customize all your cleaning needs. Weekly, bi-weekly, special occasion. Do you have a vacation home that needs cleaning? We clean them too. Locally owned and operated, let Merry Maids do the cleaning while you focus on your family and friends. Merry Maids has special offers to fit your budget. Request your free cleaning estimate today. 509-663-1710.
This is Grace, and this is her world record-holding guinea pig with an iconic name, Abby.
She currently holds the Guinness World Record for the highest bar jump by a guinea pig. I ride horses and I jump, so I kind of thought it'd be interesting to teach my guinea pig to jump like my horse does.
One day she came out of her room and looked at us, and I said, "Did you get it?" And she said, "Yeah, we got it."
After we won our award, we came to Abby's to celebrate.
Castle Rock International is the Northwest's premier real estate agency for large acreage properties, farms and ranch land, lodging and resorts, waterfront properties, and commercial real estate. Professional, knowledgeable, and discreet, award-winning Castle Rock International has the listings and the highly qualified buyers you have been looking for. Contact John McNamara at Castle Rock International today, or visit their website for more information about this outstanding local company.
This is Mike, Mad Dog Magnotti, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, I've seen a lot of social media posts, and I've heard people say, Jesus is the same today and yesterday and forever, and basically saying that Christianity doesn't change due to societal or cultural changes. In other words, for example, what some of these folks are really saying is that Jesus has never liked gay people, and he doesn't like them now. Well, I agree that Jesus is the same and doesn't change, but what needs to change is any of these churchy attitudes that denies that God's grace and reconciliation are available to everyone regardless of who they are, even if some current evangelical folks don't like some of them. This is Mike, Mad Dog Magnotti, and that's my opinion.
Stop by the Culinary Apple and elevate your cooking experience. With high-quality cookware, bakeware, and tools, you'll find just what you need. It's not too early to start thinking about the holidays. Pre-order your Apple gift packs and custom gift boxes now.
Located in the heart of downtown Chelan, Lake Chelan Sports is your best choice for outdoor apparel. Whether you're enjoying the lake or spending time with your family or simply relaxing, we have you covered. Welcome to Lake Chelan Sports.
Shoot, I think I left my keys in the kitchen. Can you grab them?
Yep.
Find them?
What's this?
It's a locking bag. It keeps Grandma's medication safe.
But I could just take it.
Well, for one thing, it locks. And if it were gone, I know there's a problem.
Huh. Well played.
Help prevent opioid misuse before it starts. Visit getthefactsrx.com.
If you're looking for the best way to buy a pre-owned Honda, look no further than Honda True. You get less to worry about and more benefits. Choose from 3 different tiers with up to 10 model years of Honda vehicles, inspected by a Honda-trained technician. Discover why Honda True means less compromise and more of what you love about Honda.
Apple Valley Honda, your local Honda dealer in East Wenatchee.
Crystal's Intimate Lounge in downtown Leavenworth is a wonderful place to enjoy mouth-watering appetizers and drinks while socializing, watching sports, playing bingo, pull tabs, or simply relaxing while enjoying the breathtaking mountain views. Crystal's family-friendly restaurant has a warm environment to enhance your dining experience, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner 7 days a week. Crystal's restaurant, lounge, and event space is located 2 blocks west of downtown Leavenworth on Highway 2.
Jefferson Robbins here with NCW Life. Mayor Frank Kuntz is leaving the office of the city of Wenatchee. After 12 years, a new mayor will be sitting in that seat. One of the folks who wants to fill that office, joins me now. Mike Poyer, member of the Wenatchee City Council. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
You have Mayor Kuntz's endorsement as the candidate to replace him. You've also praised his work as mayor, said he's done a good job. What does Mayor Mike Poyer do differently from the Frank Kuntz administration?
So first of all, Mayor, you said he's endorsed me, and he is. He believes he knows what I've done in the past, I think, and I think that's the key. And it's okay. Him and I, we both try so hard, and which is nice. But the transparency is, we do everything legal transparency. There's no question about that. But I believe in trying to get information out better. And I do know we're looking at a website actually to change, but it has to be, the mayor has to be out there all the time. And Mayor Kuntz is out there a lot. But I think there's a form of government, and some things happen actually, like you mentioned earlier about last night. And I think so transparency, and this housing crisis is unbelievable. And where do we start? And there's some neat things, but when you have one program, you need 100 more to get this to work, and we're all doing it. So definitely affordable housing is obviously homelessness, and that's something that needs to be addressed more and more and more. And this is tough.
And the council with you on it in the past year has passed an ordinance removing living in your vehicle as an option on the streets of Wenatchee. You need to be someplace that vehicle needs to move at times, et cetera.
It's great, and we're talking about the homeless. So right now what's getting implemented is some signs that you're going to start seeing at the parks, and these signs are going to say no trespassing. And that's something we're getting finally the steps, the city council, the current city council, and the mayor, current mayor, we finally got to some steps. Now we can actually push some issues here. We got to remember though, there are mom or dad, brother, sister. It's people that, they're human. So we got to make sure we understand that correctly. And we need to make sure we take care of our share. And that doesn't mean we allow other cities to say, okay, well, you can just take them. That's not the way it is. And we need to make sure we contact other cities that if they are transporting people here or only give them enough money to get here, that's not the right thing to do, because they need to be where their family's at and where their city's at. And I think sometimes we forget that. Again, we need to be responsible for our own, but not for other people's. And every city and county needs to take care of their share.
How do we determine the residency, though, quote unquote, of a person who is without housing? By definition, they are not residents anywhere.
So one thing that I want to do after I'm mayor that we're not currently doing, we're kind of hit and miss. I want all of our community member groups for not just housing, but like even if it's the YMCA or it's the YWCA or SAGE, these organizations, actually my goal is either once a week or whatever, we're actually going to go to where people are at and say, you know that we have services here, you know we can help. And I'm not, I know that's an approach that will help, even if it helps 2 people every week. And if we continue that, instead of sitting there waiting for them to come to us, we actually do go out to them. I think it makes total sense. If you're on the streets and you have a drug problem, and you can sit there and a counselor's talking to you or somebody's talking to you that has experience and expertise, and they go, we have options here. And people want to be loved. They want to be cared for. Not cared for, it's not a responsibility to enable them by any means, but it's definitely our responsibility to say, here's some services, let's get you back on your feet. And I think that's going to help with a majority of that, especially if we're out there every week with these groups. And that's something that I'm excited about, because that's a way we're going to get homeless guidance, and we're going to get some homeless in a different direction, and we're going to get some homeless help to realize, where's your family? If somebody says, hey, my family is in Moses Lake, then really some of these services could contact maybe their parents or their loved ones, say, hey, your loved one's here, and try to maybe reconnect, and make it It's humanitarian. I mean, when it's all said and done, we all want to be back with people that love us, and I think that's one option, one of 100 options that we can do to help with homelessness.
Do you see things like the homeless low barrier push, the pallet shelters, the safe park for mobile homes? Do you see projects like that continuing under an administration if you were elected?
Today, 40% of the people in the Safe Park 1 and 2 actually have jobs just like us. They get up, they might have a different job. They might be working in the orchards, but they get up at 4 in the morning. They have jobs, and so they just can't do it because they don't have enough money. So what a great opportunity. It'd be awesome if we could have 80% of those people in that park that are progressing. And that's the deal. You have to progress in this. I see more during my administration, I see more that we hold people responsible. Now, holding people responsible is going to be a little bit different for each individual. For you, it might be to make sure I wear my coat and tie today. Well, because you know you have an interview. For some people, it might be get rid of one of my 10 bikes on top of my car. But if they do that and they're progressing, that's a great thing, you know, because then we're getting somewhere. So that's kind of, so the answer is yes. On I want to continue the safe parks. I think there needs to be changes on it, and the low barrier pallet housing, which should help with 88 people, allow us to do some of these things back to no trespassing in parks.
What kind of steps can the city take under your administration to try and keep housing that's affordable and build our supply of affordable housing for people just starting out?
Yeah, there's an organization, and it's called Common Ground, and the executive director, I think it's Tom Neese, I believe it is. And I've met with him like 2 or 3 times, and the more I understood it, and we went actually from item to item, and he's creating, you have to qualify, you only can make so much money, and then you qualify for a home. The HUD program or a VET program had it, I remember 25 or 30 years ago, and it really worked. So if you qualify for this home, then you get into this, it's a cute little home. I've seen all the diagrams of it. And then there's going to be 8 built here in the next year or so. And they're getting some money from federal, they'll get some money from federal plus private. And how that works, it's really a neat deal. How it works is there has to be a certain income. Let's say it's $60,000 a year. So today's nurse might make $65,000. I'm not sure what a nurse would make, but you're right. Nurses get jobs here and they leave the same week because they can't, they're like, I can't afford housing here. It just doesn't make any sense. So there's definitely a need there, obviously. But anyway, so what happens is when you sell this home, first of all, 60% of the people in it, because this program is going on in other cities, 60% of the people actually get a market house. They'll actually move out, and they'll move out, and then they get to take some of their equity and go, and then it goes to the next person.
Well, Mike, in your professional job, you're an insurance agent. And in 2020, you entered a consent decree with the Office of the Insurance Commissioner, and you were fined $3,000 for unilaterally switching clients' homeowners' policies from one insurance company to another without their knowledge or consent. That's according to the language of the consent decree. What happened?
What I was trying to do, one company was struggling on paying a certain claim that I believe should have been paid, and I didn't want to represent that company. I didn't think it was best for our customers, so I was trying to move those customers over to the other customers. There was never any lapse in coverage. They all signed, anytime somebody gets transferred over, they always sign the application. And it was just, it was a funny deal. It was a funny deal, but then result, I know I was doing the right thing for the customer. One customer says, "Hey, I didn't get this letter. I didn't get a phone call," and I could not prove that I didn't call him. So that one customer is actually still with me. He actually switched to the other company after it was explained, And I'm the one that encouraged him to call the insurance commissioner, because I says, you know, I believe we did everything correct and accurate, but please call the insurance commissioner. So to me, that's transparency. I encourage this person to call the insurance commissioner.
You then had to open up your practices to the insurance commissioner's office and say, this is how it happened, and these are the steps we took or should have taken.
Yes.
What do you think is the state of Wenatchee right now, Mike?
The state of Wenatchee needs a strong leader it is tough. It is tough for every city. And I believe most cities, and there's no exception. This is tough, and it's tough because we're used to certain things. We some people say, hey, we don't want to grow anymore, but yet there's state laws out there that says we do have to grow, and we have to bring in so much land and use into the city. It's frustrating. This is a tough commitment, and you're going to have knowledge. You have to have knowledge to know how to get financing to finish Confluence Parkway. And it's going to have to be a mayor that can go to legislation and explain their case. And the situation in Wenatchee this is perfect timing for me, to be honest with you, because I'm like all in. And that's what's going to be nice, nice, because I actually have goals, dedication, and that's what's going to be nice. I'm right and I have the knowledge, and that's what's fun. It's very exciting and fun. But we're in a position. We're in a pendulum right now. We're in a position of which direction are we going to go here.
Mike Poyer, candidate for mayor of Wenatchee. Thanks a lot for sitting down with us.
Yeah, this has been great. Thank you.
You're watching the NCW Life channel.
Welcome to the Columbia Basin Dispute Resolution Center. We are a local nonprofit serving Grant and Adams counties, helping businesses and people resolve difficult issues so they can move toward a better future. We offer help with workplace disputes, residential issues, family matters, and can train your staff in conflict prevention and resolution skills. Call us at 509-237-8401 to learn more.
Mir das Problem sagen.
Meinen Zylinder überschwingt. Flute, ich habe mein Fugen verloren.
Keine Sorge.
Global Car Care. We speak your car's language.
Fragenschlüssel. Hey, you.
Well, I got a leaky transmission, my head gasket's shot, and I could use some new brake pads.
That dog don't hunt.
Global Car Care.
Crown Furniture knows the most important part of a healthy and productive lifestyle is good quality sleep. The Englander Mattress Company is dedicated to manufacturing the best mattresses made in the USA. Englander chooses the finest materials made in the USA with a drive, dedication, and attention to detail, earning them a 99% satisfaction rating. Stop by Crown Furniture today on South Wenatchee Avenue and save up to 35% on select Englander mattresses.
As you can see behind me, the sun is starting to peek through the high clouds that have infiltrated here in the valley. 36 degrees, but high pressure is going to start building up. The clouds will be exiting. Lots of sunshine right through basically Tuesday of next week. It's going to be a very gradual warming trend when we have cold air trapped at the surface and high pressure develops and entrenches itself. We have lots of sunshine, but the cold air doesn't go anywhere. So from the National Weather Service, one more look at what we have in store for you. 45 our forecast high today. For the record, we got to 43 on Thursday, so a degree or two warmer than that. Again, lots of sunshine. Once that sun goes down, it's going to get real cold real quick, 31 for the overnight low. If there's any good news there, as far as the temperatures are concerned, they were thinking we could be maybe even in the lower 20s for the overnight lows over the weekend. Now, it's not going to be quite that cold, but plenty cold anyway. Our normal high this time of the year is 54, and our normal low is 37. So you can see we're not going to be normal, but we will have a lot of sunshine. We'll take that. With 45 for the high on Saturday, right around mid-40s on Sunday, bumping it up to near 50 on Monday and Tuesday before the next weather maker comes in Wednesday afternoon. Have a great weekend. We'll see you Monday. Bye-bye.
CW Life, the Wenatchee School District has 3 school board races up for decision this November. One of the candidates for one of those races joins me today, Martin Barron, running at large. Having spent 4 years on the board during a really tumultuous period, what do you feel like you've learned about steering a family of schools that you could then bring to another term?
I'm going to begin almost that it's more work than you realize, but you get back to a board needs to be collegial and work as a group. Statute-wise, our only authority is as a group. And in order to do that, you have to treat everybody with respect, and you also have to recognize how to work to something that is either a consensus or close to it, and take joint responsibility for it. And once we've made a